We're just off the long weekend, and I hope you had a really nice long weekend for Independence Day. But it got me thinking. Most of us spend more time planning a long weekend than they do planning their life. It's more fun or more energizing or to think about what you're going to eat and where you're going to go, what kind of friends you're going to see. But what about your life? What you want to do and create and be in your life? And why is that? It's because most of us get comfortable, or we're in a place that's familiar and safe and predictable and it's pretty good. And so we just continue to live in that place. Now, I moved recently, which I think many of you know, and I'm sitting outside in my garden. You might be able to hear the birds in the background, and there's flowers and fruit trees, and it's gorgeous. But one thing I know about gardens and about plants and about nature is it's always growing. There is always movement and growth. And especially in a garden like this, that growth can get kind of all twisted up and tangled and jungly, and it gets really messy. So if you want your garden to look good, you have to tend it. You have to trim back the plants that need trimming. You need to plant new flowers where you want new flowers, but you have to have a design and an intention for what you want to look like, and you need to maintain it. And our life is the same way. We can continue to let life evolve and grow naturally, and it will, because life is always growing and expanding. And we will look back on our life and it will have been a happenstance or a coincidence, and maybe there will be some great things and maybe there will be some weeds. But if you want flowers and you want fruit and you want a garden that's beautiful to look at, the same thing applies in your life. It takes some planning and some effort. And it starts with the question, what would you love to have your life look like? It's a relatively simple question, but most people don't answer it. And what if you could have it? Because we get hung up on the reasons why we can't, or my life is pretty good, why would I want anything different? But what if you could have something even better than what you have now? So I invite you to just experiment with that. We're rolling into the second half of the year, if you can believe that. The first half of the year both seemed extremely long and extremely short at the same time. But as we're going into the second half of 2020, there are 6 months ahead of you to create the life that you would love to have. So if you believe that you can have it, and you assume that you could have it, if you had a blank sheet of paper, you could write out anything you want, what would you love the second half of this year to look like? So when you hit New Year's Eve, December 31st, and you look back at this year and say, yeah, there were some unexpected things in the first half of the year, but the second half of the year was amazing. What would that look like? Just lean into that and explore that this week. Have a great week.